What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, and they're out of both Chico, California and Mills River, North Carolina, and this is their Atomic Torpedo Imperial IPA. So this is an Imperial IPA that comes in at 9.2% alcohol by volume, 42 IBUs at the time of review. And this can is just under 2 months old. So this is another shelfie beer review for the month of April 2025, and believe it or not, I have not reviewed this one yet, and I also thought I didn't have it, but apparently I had this one about a month ago at my favorite local bottle shop of choice, Brewed and Bottled in Lewiston, New York. Chris busted out a can of it, and I think I had probably like 4 ounces of it. The reason why I forgot about it is because I was probably not sober at that point, but he busted out, and I remember now when I think back to it, I'm like, there was a couple other like hype beers that were cracked open, and this was better than those. But again, I had it on, I had a 4-ounce pour of it, and also my palate was shot, so I don't really know. Recently, a very good friend of mine, viewer of the channel, Billy, mentioned that he had this one and he really enjoyed it. And I've had a couple other people mention this one before. I had no idea this was a year-round offering. Essentially, this is an Imperial version of their Torpedo Extra IPA, which I have reviewed on the channel. And this one is brewed with, I think it's honey and 2-row pale malts, and then Cascade, Centennial, Magnum, and Mosaic hops. So yeah, it's just a bigger version of their regular Torpedo, although the malts and hops are slightly different. So they probably tweaked it a bit. And when I was reading on their website, they said they originally introduced this one at 8.2 and bumped it up to 9.2. So more of an Imperial than a straight double, but does it really matter? No. So not super fresh at just under 2 months old, but fresh enough. And I've mentioned this before when it comes to shelfie beers like this, you can't always find them super fresh. If you're, let's say you're at the, the supermarket or grocery store or wherever, gas station, and you see this, because these come in the stovepipe, 19.2 fluid ounce cans. You might want to just grab it, and a lot of times you're not looking at dates and being like, oh, is this 2 weeks old? A lot of times you don't care, and a lot of times Sierra Nevada stuff holds up extremely well when it comes to aging their IPAs a little bit older. They have a better shelf stability. Anyway, yeah, that looks beautiful. We'll bust out the contraband flashlight here. What you're seeing on camera is what I'm seeing in person, though. So the flashlight really doesn't matter unless you want to see if there's any carbonation. Slow carbonation bubbles I'm seeing in there, though, very slow. Has almost a 2-finger of this off-white kind of soap sudsy looking head. Great clarity. You can see not only the shadow, but you can make out each individual finger out of there. Looks absolutely fantastic, honestly. It looks like a perfect West Coast kind of Imperial / double IPA. Let's get a nose. Yeah, I mean, it smells like a slightly sweeter, slightly boozier, and more intense Torpedo. So it has that nice, like, white bread kind of malt sweetness, maybe a touch of caramel. Maybe, and this is probably because I read honey malt, there's more of a honey kind of sweetness than I'd say caramel. Yeah, I'd say like a honey kind of breadiness. But then a bunch of hops. So a lot of citrus, very citrus heavy. To me, it's white grapefruit, just a straight on like navel orange, or maybe like a clementine. It's slightly juicy, but more rindy and pithy, zesty. Then I'm getting, honestly, a touch of like, I know I shouldn't say it because of what this style is, this is not a new school West Coast IPA like a lot of the beers you see nowadays, but this kind of has a little bit of that berry kind of slightly, I wouldn't say dank berry, but more like I'd say more like a floral berry kind of note. The Mosaic probably helping out with that. Just, we'll say a generic mixed berry. Maybe a little bit of like pineapple as well. And then a floral pine kind of slightly resinous, slightly resinous character. It smells like it's going to have more of a sweetness. It's making my mouth water, which means it smells pretty good. But it just seems to me, based on the nose, that it's going to be a little bit sweeter. Doesn't smell like it's like has substantial age. Like doesn't have that orange marmalade character that I get when I get an old school IPA or like an old school style IPA and it's aged. I usually get orange marmalade on like white bread. That's kind of what I get. I'm not getting that here. It smells pretty good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Pretty fucking delicious. It's pretty fucking delicious what that is. It's real delicious. I am officially a convert to West Coast IPAs of all sorts. We'll just say West Coast hop forward beers. This is a beer you gave me if you give me like early 2020s, late 2010s, I'm probably like, this is all right, but it's not for me. But this is like higher side of medium, lower side of full, which I did not expect. I know it's 9.2%, but just looking at it whatnot, I'm like, this is not going to have a substantial body. It does. It's not too big. I think it's kind of right in the wheelhouse of what I want out of a 9.2% hop forward beer. The mouthfeel, it's very crisp, very clean, spritzy on the palate, smooth going down second half, but like really sticks around. And the dryness is kind of like sapping my palate of any saliva that resided there. It's like pretty much the first 2/3, maybe 3/4 of my palate from front to back is just like cat tongue, sandpaper. This is real nice. It's not overly complex. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you because the nose had a nice complexity. The taste is pretty simple. It's honey and white bread malt character right at the tip of the tongue. Omnipresent. It actually kind of hits on the back, gives me like a slight, like, again, it's not like straight on, like, it's just a honey-esque kind of malt character, honey bread-esque malt character. So it's omnipresent, but it's never a predominant note because the hops are on top of that. And front to back, I'm pretty much getting zesty, rindy, pithy citrus. I'd say more like a white grapefruit with some orange. There's really no lemon or lime or anything like that. It's more white, old school, like white grapefruit, clementine, something like that. Middle of the palate, I get a skosh of pineapple, and it finishes with a little bit of that generic mixed berry vibe, but it has a big floral, piney, resinous finish. Not really dank. It's more like a floral pine. More floral than probably pine, honestly. Yeah, very floral. Bone dry, like very, very dry. Moderate bitterness. So for a West Coast Imperial IPA, it brings the dryness, it brings the bitterness. Since this is like an older school kind of West Coast IPA, you taste the malt. It's not overly done or overtly, like hanging around on the palate too much, but you do, again, I get a little bit of that honey, a little bit of that white bread. And I think that's kind of a big difference to the new school West Coast IPAs that just have like a simple like Pilsner malt. They might use a couple different malts, but usually it's like Pilsner malt, something to allow the hops to shine. This one's allowing the hops to shine, but it's also intertwining with the base malt, and the base malt actually has a pretty proper, not superly and overly complex flavor, but it's definitely more noticeable, and I like it. This is a fucking really delicious, shelfy, find it at your grocery store in 19.2 fluid ounce stovepipe cans, hammer one of them out for the night, maybe two, and you're feeling great, and you're doing so at a cheap price and with great flavor. I almost feel like I need to revisit the Pale Ale, even though I think I just reviewed that in the past year or two. Same thing with Torpedo. I probably reviewed that one maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I need to review a lot of old school American hop forward beers and West Coast hop forward beers, because I think now that my palate appreciates them a lot more, I'm more impressed by them, and my palate is more enamored and in tune with what's happening here. It's a revelation on my channel over the past 6 months to a year. I'm really digging these West Coast beers and the old school hop forward beers that just bring the bitterness and dryness. I like it now, and I never used to. So it's crazy how your palate changes. Oh yeah, 9.2%, slight warming in the chest, nothing on the palate. This is deceptive and very, very, very scary. It's an incredibly scary beer to drink. I could pound out multiple cans of this, not really think twice, and fucking be in a ditch somewhere. You know what I mean? Listen, this is not the best West Coast Imperial or double IPA I've had, but it's very good. And for a shelfy beer, I like it. So I'm going to give Atomic Torpedo Imperial IPA from Sierra Nevada real straight 4.25 out of 5. This, my friends, is tasty. And if you never had it like I thought I didn't have it, pick it up. And this is a little bit better than I had it when recently at Chris's store. But again, that was 4 ounces, and he was sharing it, whatnot. Palate not fresh, but just slightly better. I think I had a pretty good idea of how this beer was at that point. And again, this is a lot better than a couple other beers that were cracked open at that point. Price point availability in the Buffalo, New York area, this is usually $11.99 a 6-pack. I don't know what the stovepipe cans are, probably less than $3 a can. But yeah, it's Sierra Nevada. The value is always here with Sierra Nevada. I can probably remember 1 or 2 beers they ever released where the beer was substantially overvalued. I remember they did that. What was it, that beers around the world mixed 12-pack where they collabed with like 12 different breweries. I remember that being disappointing because that was in a substantially expensive 12-pack. I think it was like almost $30. And then on top of that, like a lot of the hop forward beers, fresh, were already 2.5 months old. That was like one of the only times I can remember Sierra Nevada beer pissing me off from a value standpoint. And outside of that, they're always killer value. Like they're always reasonably priced and just delicious. And availability, Sierra Nevada, they're in most states. Most of you can find this one. It's a year-round offer, and you should be able to find it whether it's in these 12 fluid ounce cans, a mixed variety pack, or a stovepipe can. You should be able to find this one. So if you've had this one before, and I'm sure a shit ton of you have, post in the comment section what do you think about this one. Do I enjoy this more than the the regular Torpedo Extra IPA? I don't know. I'd have to revisit that one, and maybe I will this year just to see it. Maybe I'll do a quick comparison in the same review if I can get them close by in terms of freshness. Might be a fun, kind of like I did with the Double Sunshine and Sip of Sunshine. Maybe I'll do something like that with this and regular Torpedo just to see which one I prefer. And do they is this a straight-on Imperial version of that? Probably, but I don't know. Anyway, shutting this one down, like I said, 9.2%, a little bit warmer in chest, nothing on palate, hides extremely well. 4.25 out of 5. Really, really, really good West Coast Imperial IPA. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.